Okay, well, while we're waiting on that, let me start the hearing then. All right, good morning. This is, court is calling case number 2008 AG 1499. This is a hearing on a motion to modify child support. The parties in this case are Alfredo Quiñones and Melissa Lopez. My name is Antonio Rodriguez. I'm the associate judge for the Title 4D court here in El Paso, Texas. We are proceeding on basis of a Zoom application since due to the pandemic virus that's going on, we can't be in court. However, we are proceeding as if we are in court, and I would ask the parties to keep in mind that their conduct is expected as if you were in court. We are transcribing and I'm recording the evidence in this matter, so please do not record any evidence or testimony in your own personal device that you may have. This matter is also being live streamed to the YouTube channel as provided for the Texas Family Code and Texas Supreme Court orders that have been issued in this case. The ground rules are, in this case, are very basic, the same as we were in court. Since this is being held on a Zoom application, I would ask parties not to talk over each other, have one individual talk at one time so that the audio can pick up the information. As you can tell, sometimes we have audio problems in this case. All right, those are the basic ground rules in this case. With that being said, I'm going to ask the Attorney General and Mr. Quiñones, Attorney Quiñones, to make any appropriate announcement at this time. I'll start with the Attorney General. Ms. Kaplan. I think Ms. Kaplan is frozen. Ms. Kaplan? I'm trying to unmute her. How about you, Mr. Quiñones? Are you ready to proceed today, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Kaplan? Okay. Let me see. I don't have her muted. She might be trying to come back. Those are the wonders of our technology here. Ms. Kaplan. Okay, you know what? Mr. Knauf is also in the wings. Let me see if he can come in.
Your Honor?
Oh, there he is. Yes, Ms. Kaplan? I think I hear you.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Knauf. I'm getting ready to start the case with Mr. Quiñones. Ms. Kaplan seems to have some difficulty in the case or logging in. She was here earlier. I know it was.
I think she's having a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm talking with her on our Teams chat right now.
Okay. Well, all parties are here and ready to go. I don't think I have her muted, but let me see. I don't have a visual on her. Kaplan, are you with us? Hello. Did somebody else sign out? I don't have her. Ms. Lopez, are you still with us?
Yes, sir. I still am here.
Okay, because I seem to have lost your picture. Ms. Kaplan? She keeps trying to come back in.
Okay, looks like Lindsay's gonna have to try and restart.
Okay.
She's asked me to go ahead and sub in for her on the case.
Okay, all right. I was asking for announcements of council. Mr. Quinones, Carlos Quinones, the attorney, is also online. This is a modification. We can go ahead and make an announcement at this time.
Douglas Canal, the Office of the Attorney General, ready to proceed.
All right.
Quinones, we have Alfredo Quinones ready to proceed.
All right. I'm going to ask the parties, Mr. Quinones and Ms. Lopez, if you would please raise your right hand so I can swear you in, please. Ms. Lopez, I don't have a picture for you. You're not on video, but I'm assuming that you are raising your right hand, ma'am.
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, thank you. Do you and each one of you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Quinones, I need a response, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right. Mr. Kanoth, go ahead.
And at this time, the state would seek to call Mr. Alfredo Quinones. Sir, could you please state your name for the court?
Alfredo Quinones.
And where are you working these days, sir?
Right now, my company sent me to help finish a job in Reno, Nevada.
What are they paying you per hour with the company?
Right now, it's an adjusted wage of 52 an hour.
52 an hour? What kind of work is this?
Electrical.
What type of electrics?
Commercial, industrial type of work. My wage in El Paso is, I was making 32 an hour, but they needed help out here for a few months, and this job's almost over, probably a month or two.
So you typically make $32 an hour with this same employer?
Yes, I've been with them for 13 years, but right now they sent me out here. They needed help finishing a job out here.
How many hours do you typically get in a week?
Well, it depends. There's weeks when we don't get overtime. There's weeks when we get overtime. We're trying to finish the job, so I always when it's trying to finish is when we might get some overtime. Like I send my lawyer those check stubs. I had 5 weeks with no overtime. So, but lately we've been working a minimum of at least 8 hours, 8 to 10 extra per week. If not
So-
more, sometimes it all varies depending. Like I said, we're trying to energize the building and do some stuff, so it's taking up a lot of hours lately. But usually, we work a 48-hour minimum lately.
So the usual work week for you is 48 hours, and it can vary up or down a little bit from there.
Well, it's 40, but we've been doing 48 on this one. Normally with Berg, we only work 40 hours, but lately it's been at least 48.
Apologies,
But-
I'm just taking a few notes on what you let me know. And your overtime, they pay you time and a half?
10 and a half.
Do you have health insurance through your work?
Yeah, no, I pay for it. I pay about $120 a week for my daughter's insurance.
Does that
So we-
include dental?
Dental and vision, and that's 120 per week, what they take out of my check for that. I get paid weekly.
All right. Do you have any other sources of income besides your regular employment?
No.
When did you start with this current employer?
13 years ago, back in 2007, I want to think, in May.
All right. And at this time, I'd like to pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Quinones, question?
Thank you. Mr. Quinones, is it true that the reason that it's at a higher rate now is because of a temporary position at Reno, Nevada?
Yes, we're like really close to Sacramento in California, so the wages and the rents. I mean, I'm paying about $1,800 for rent over here, and just the cost of living. So the wage adjustment is because of the area where we're finishing up over here, and they can't get a lot of skilled labor out here, so they brought us to help finish. So the area that's very typical for the area's wages.
Okay, and apart from living expenses, do you also have to pay travel costs to travel into El Paso?
Yes, I've been flying in as much as I can to go see my kids regularly to El Paso.
And
So I'm trying for at least once a month. If not, if I can, I do twice, but I'm doing at least trying once a month to fly home.
okay. In fact, your wife lives in El Paso, correct?
Yes, sir.
And your entire family lives in El Paso?
My entire family lives in El Paso. Like I said, this is a temporary accommodation to help finish this job.
Okay, are you asking the court to base it instead on the $32 an hour wage?
I would like to, that is my standard base pay back at home. We have an office back at home, and I'm hoping to go back at home after this job, which should be done within the next 2 months.
All right. After these 2 months, will your wage for sure go down to the $32 an hour wage?
Yes, if not, I would let the court know if they try to send me somewhere else, but as far as I'm concerned, it should be back to El Paso.
All right. And when you are in El Paso, how many hours do you typically work in El Paso?
40 hours.
All right. All right. Oh, the health insurance, it covers your girls. It does not cover you, correct?
Mine's covered by my work or my company. It's mainly for the girls.
Okay, so it's, well, okay, so your job pays 100% of your insurance, correct?
As far as I'm concerned, yes. And then it's for my girls that have to pay the additional.
All right, so the 120 is the additional, correct?
Yes,
All right,
and that's per week.
okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Knauf, any other questions?
Yes, sir. Just to clarify a few points, Mr. Quinones.
ahead.
Do you have any other children besides the two in this case?
I do. She's 20, and I don't pay child support for her anymore. It's only these 2 kids.
And so when you work in El Paso, do you get overtime?
Seldomly, like on the last job I was there, we did that Beaumont Replacement Hospital. Out of the 6 years I worked there, didn't have any overtime. But like I said, at the end of the job, when we're trying to energize, we got a little bit of overtime. But in the other 5 years on that same job site, I didn't get overtime. Work Electric doesn't work a lot of overtime unless we require at the end. Usually at the end of jobs, when we're trying to finish is when we work a little bit of overtime.
And how many times a year does that happen?
I want to say usually, like I said, on that job site for 6 years, we didn't get any till the last year. And it was probably about 8 hours for the last 6 months, maybe, of the year. I did get at least 8 hours overtime.
Do you have any problem continuing the children under your health insurance through your work?
Oh, no, I want to have them under my insurance. It's not a problem.
All right. Just doing a quick little calculation here based on the information you've given me. And at this time, no further questions for this witness, though I would like to call Miss Melissa R. Lopez.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Quinones, any questions for your client?
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, okay, Mr. Knauf, go ahead.
Ms. Lopez, could you please state your name for the court?
Melissa Ray Lopez.
And do you know where Mr. Quinones is presently working?
Yes, with Berg Electric.
Do you know how much he makes with them?
No, I don't.
Based on his testimony, did the information he provided seem to be an accurate depiction of his earning situation?
Objection, speculation, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, I didn't get to the objection, Mr. Quinones.
Oh, I'm sorry. Objection to speculation, Your Honor, as to his wages.
Okay. Ms. Lopez, only testify to those matters that you do have personal knowledge of. Do not speculate, okay?
Yes, sir.
No.
Ma'am, do you know if Mr. Quinones has any extra income outside of his regular job?
I know that he works a lot of side jobs, which would be like weekend jobs. He does side jobs for people. For example, he'll put in light fixtures or stuff like that.
And
for
how do you know?
extra income.
Apologies, please continue, ma'am.
That was it, sir, for extra income or extra cash, I guess.
And how do you know this information?
He tells me.
So do you know the name of these other employers?
No, I don't. It would just be based on weekends on his time to pick up the girls. He would just let me know, I'm gonna be a little late. Can I pick him up another day? Stuff like that. But no, I don't know the name of the employers.
Do you have a picture for how much he might be earning from these side jobs?
No,
Is he working, has he in the past worked these extra jobs while he was working in El Paso?
yes,
Is it your understanding that he works more than a typical 40-hour work week,
yes, I think so, yes,
even while he's in El Paso?
yes.
Ma'am, do you have access to private health insurance right now?
I do, yes.
Are the children presently covered under your healthcare policy?
Both of my girls are covered under eye insurance with me, not under the healthcare. They're under their dad's, under Mr. Quinones's.
And are you okay with them continuing to be covered by Mr. Quinones for purposes of healthcare and dental insurance?
Yes, his is better.
And would the disclosure of your personal information in the final order of this court lead you or any of the children to an increased risk of harm or harassment or anything like that?
No,
All right. State will rest subject to a brief closing argument.
Right. Mr. Quinones, any questions for Ms. Lopez?
Just a couple, Judge.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Thank you. Ma'am, do you have any witnesses to testify here today about his side jobs or proof of his side jobs?
just Mr. Quinones.
Okay. Well, Mr. Quinones has already stated that he makes no extra income. Do you have anything besides Mr. Quinones?
Nope, other than his words, no, sir.
Okay. Do you have any documentation to show that Mr. Quinones is earning any side jobs or money from side jobs at this time?
No, sir, just his word.
Or any documentation when he was in El Paso earning those side jobs?
No, sir, just his word.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Canals, any further testimony or evidence in this case?
Nothing further at this time, sir.
All right. State rest.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Quinones, anything on your client's behalf?
Yes, Your Honor. Just briefly, concerning the limited time that we have available with this court, we didn't file a motion to continue. Also, the difficulty in trying to arrange all parties to attend the hearing for purposes of calculating his child support. As the client testified, as a respondent testified, he's right now in a temporary position outside of this court's in Reno, Nevada. And so because it is a temporary position, we are asking, and because of the added expenses, we're asking the court to calculate his child support based on his regular income of $32 an hour while in El Paso, as he's testified that he's done that for the past 7 years. So we're asking the court to continue that and to calculate it based on that. Already, that would be um, an increased amount based on his current child support. Any more than that would be excessive, and any more than that would not be in consideration of his travel expenses to see his wife and his kids here in El Paso, his increased living expenses out in Nevada, and the stipend that he's receiving because of those living expenses. And so we're asking the court to consider those and to take into consideration his average wage of 32 an hour. Thank you.
Mr. Knopf, the state's recommendation on this matter.
As Mr. Quinonez's current position is temporary and coming to an end pretty quick here, I agree with his counsel that the appropriate wage to use for calculating child support would be $32 per hour. However, we have testimony from Mr. Quinonez as well as Ms. Lopez that he does work more than 40 hours. He does get overtime while he is working in El Paso. Thus, I would recommend that the rate of child support be based on $32 an hour at 48 hours per week, which I calculate at $1,382 per month in child support, which would begin July 1st and continue monthly thereafter. This is factoring in having Mr. Quinonez carry the dependents on his health insurance, as both parties agree that's the most economically effective option for that healthcare coverage. If the court should find that Mr. Quinonez does not earn enough overtime to warrant calculation when he works in El Paso, the rate of child support based on just $32 an hour, 40 hours a week, would be $1,076.34 per month. But again, the state does recommend the use of the higher amount, since we do have testimony that he makes overtime even while in El Paso. And no request for non-disclosure this time.
And that calculation is taken into account with that Mr. Quinonez will provide the health insurance for the children.
Yes, both calculations factor that in at a rate of $120 per month, covering health and dental.
If I can respond.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Quinonez.
Thank you, Judge. I believe my client's testimony was that he did receive certain points overtime. That was only when a construction project was close to being completed. As he stated, he was at the hospital for 5 years and they really didn't have that much overtime just at the very end. And so we're asking the court to base it on the 40-hour work week, typical work week at this time. Thank you.
And sir, do you have a calculation as to what the support amount should be based on his income and the cost of insurance?
So I did do the calculations. We're in agreement that the calculations are correct to both calculations, the 48 and the 40. But we're asking that the court do $1,076.32 starting July 1st, 2020.
So your recommendation is 1,076?
Yes, $1,076.32. 34, I'm sorry, 34.
And that Mr. Quinonez provide the health insurance for the children.
Correct.
Right. Mr. Knopf, any final closing, sir?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, based on the testimony presented here today, court does find that the modification of the child support is in order. Based on the current income of Mr. Quinonez and taking into account that he will be ordered to continue with the health insurance for the children, child support, modified child support, $1,075 with the appropriate step down as the first child turns 18, graduates from high school, and that Mr. Quinonez continue with the health insurance for the children, tender proof of that coverage to Ms. Lopez within a reasonable time. Does not appear that if it was pled, there was a request for non-disclosure, so that issue is not addressed by the court at this time. Start date would be July 1 with the new child support amounts. Right, Mr. Knopf, is there any other matter that needs to be addressed by the court?
Nothing further. Oh, well, forgive me. Should I submit the order directly to the court or should I circulate it to the parties for signatures?
Okay, that's the next question I was going to ask. Mr. Jonas, normally after a court hearing, the Attorney General prepares an order for my signature. They do that through the DocuSign application. Do you want to review the order before he tenders it to me, or is it okay if he presents the order to me directly? I have no preference either way, sir. Mr. Quinones?
So for me, I'm okay with him submitting it directly.
Okay, so Mr. Knopf, go ahead and directly submit it to me.
Sorry, I
Candy.
apologize, Judge. I thought you were asking Ms. Lopez.
I do apologize. I didn't hear it was going in and out of service.
Oh, okay. I was asking Mr. Quinones if it was okay for Mr. Knopf to present it to me directly so I can sign it, or does Mr. Quinones wish to review the order before I sign it? He's indicated to me, as far as I could understand, Mr. Quinones, that you are okay with Mr. Knopf submitting the order directly to me.
That's correct, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, all right. All right, Mr. Knopf, if you will prepare the order, send it to me through that DocuSign application. As soon as I get it, I will sign it, and parties will be sent a copy of the order that I have rendered here today. All right. With all that being done and said, that will conclude our hearing for today. I would thank all for your participation in the court hearing today and cooperation. That will conclude our hearing for today, and the parties are excused. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Judge. Good day.
And I'll log out right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. What I have so far, Mr. Canal, is Ms. Kaplan still, was she able to come back in or not?
Yes, she was able to restart. She says her connection's a bit better. I think she's in the waiting room.
Oh, I see. Okay, because the only other couple I have is Rios and Reyes. I don't have Mr. Let me see. Let me just make sure. There might have been some people signed in. Rios. Sandra Acevedo is the CP on the Subia case. That's it. I don't have that. So the couple I have is Abraham Rios and Elba Reyes. Okay. Let me, is Lindsay going to be doing that, cover that hearing?
I believe she is. Let's make sure we got her up and running though first.
Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and let's see if I can admit her and admit Mr. Rios. Ms. Reyes. Oh, that's not her name.
Hello?
Hello. Hi, Ms. Kaplan. You're back.
Yes.
Okay, good. Let me see. I thought I had Abraham Rios and Elba Reyes. We may have lost Ms. Reyes. The only other person that signed in is Sandra Acevedo, and she is on the Alejandro Subia case. I have one party in each.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Kaplan. I thought Ms. Reyes had signed in, but apparently she's not in the waiting room or just Mr. Reyes. I mean, Mr. Rios.
Lindsay, I can call Miss Reyes if needed, if she was on the line and dropped out.
Okay, that would be good. Thank you.
Okay, just one.
Okay, because I only, and then at that point, looks like Mr. Alejandro Zubia is not present, but Ms. Sandra Acevedo is, and it's already almost 9 o'clock. He has, I don't think he's signed in. Do you all want to proceed on default against Mr. Zubia?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let me bring Ms. Acevedo in. She has some information on Mr. I think that's her. Signing in. Audio. Yes, Ms. Acevedo? She's connected. I don't think I ever muted. She's connected. Ms. Acevedo, are you here? Can you hear me, ma'am? I can't hear you. Ms. Acevedo?
Judge,
Yes.
she can't hear you.
Okay. Well, I can't hear her.
Oh, you can't hear her?
No?
Nope. Yeah, she said that her microphone is muted. When I mute it, ma'am?
Ms. Acevedo? Oops. Did she go away?
You're right there?
Ms. Acevedo, are you here? I know that was her. I can barely hear her.
Yeah, she's still muted, sir. There you go. She's in, sir.
Okay, Ms. Acevedo? Okay, I can barely hear you, ma'am. You need to speak a little bit louder or raise the volume on your device.
Okay.
Okay, good. I got you now. Thank you. All right. Sandra Acevedo and Alejandro Zubia. Mr. Zubia has not signed in. Ms. Acevedo, do you know anything about him? If he's
No, I just know he's in prison, but I don't know if he was gonna show up or not.
okay. All right. AG, Mr. Canales or Ms. Kaplan, any information on status of Mr. Zubia if he's in jail, prison?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Subia is currently incarcerated, and his projected release date is January of 2025.
Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and I just saw that we do have a return of service that indicates that he was served at the Texas Department of Corrections. So we'll go ahead and proceed at this time. Y'all wish to proceed on a basis of a default at this time then?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Let me get the record started here. All right, the court is calling cause number 2006 AG 343. This is a hearing on a motion to modify and to confirm child support arrearage. The parties in this case are Alejandro Zubia and Sandra Acevedo. Let the record reflect that according to the return that is on file, Mr. Alejandro Zubia was served with citation back in January of this year at some facility of the Texas Department of Corrections. We are proceeding at this time on the basis of a Zoom application since we cannot appear in court due to the pandemic virus that's going on. So the Supreme Court of the State of Texas and the Council of Judges here in El Paso has authorized courts to conduct remote hearings, in this case through the Zoom application. So the Zoom application is currently running, and we'll advise parties that this hearing is being also carried on the YouTube, streaming on the YouTube channel. That being said, I'll ask parties to please not to talk to over each other, one person talking at the same time, because obviously we have some audio problems that you're familiar with, okay? All that being said, we'll go ahead and commence the hearing. I'll ask the Attorney General to make an announcement in this case.
Lindsay Kaplan for the state, Your Honor, ready to proceed.
All right, and Ms. Acevedo, you're here by yourself. Are you ready to proceed today, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
All right. If I can have you please raise your right hand, ma'am, so I can swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right. All right, Ms. Kaplan.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I wish to share my screen to show the offender information for Mr. Subia.
All right, go ahead. Either you can do that or send it through email. That's fine. Normally I get that email a lot quicker than the screen.
Okay, then let me email it.
Okay. And once I receive it in through my email, I'll go ahead and make the appropriate announcement at that time. Subject to that document being received, go ahead and you can go ahead and proceed, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state wishes to offer the financial activity report into evidence as well. Should I email that or should I share my screen?
Go ahead and email that also. I think it's I've been getting those fairly quickly.
Yes, Your Honor.
Subject to my receipt, I'll take judicial notice of the financial report.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state wishes to call Ms. Acevedo as a witness.
All right, go ahead. She has been sworn in.
Ms. Acevedo, please state your full legal name for the record.
Sandra Acevedo.
And are you aware of Mr. Sebia's whereabouts?
Yes, ma'am.
And where is he currently?
He's incarcerated at the moment.
Do you know how long he has been incarcerated?
If I'm not mistaken, he's been incarcerated since last year in December.
Are you aware of any income source that he has despite his incarceration?
No, ma'am.
Do you know of any other children that he has?
Excuse me, I didn't understand. It's freezing.
Do you have any other, are you aware of any other children that Mr. Subia has?
Yes, he has one more child.
Under the age of 18?
I'm not sure if he's under the age of 18. I don't think so. I think my daughter would be the only one.
Okay. And Mr. Subio was previously ordered to pay you child support, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
The state wishes the court to take judicial notice of the order enforcing child support and medical support obligation and modifying support that was signed August 17th of 2010 with obligations beginning September 1st of 2010.
All right, the court will take judicial notice of the underlying court order of 2010. It is in the court file.
Thank you. Ms. Acevedo, how is your child insured on health insurance?
She has Medicaid.
Do you have any other type of insurance available for your child?
I don't have the paperwork with me, but I do have it. I do have paperwork at home stating that I have Medicaid and dental insurance through the
Okay.
state of Texas.
All right. Do you know if Mr. Subia has any health insurance available for your child?
No, he doesn't. I know he used to work as a tattoo artist, but it was under the table, so I don't really think he has any insurance.
Okay. And do you have any safety concerns regarding Mr. Subia?
Well, not right now because he's incarcerated, but when he does come out, I do kind of fear that he gets to know where I live.
And what are the nature of your concerns?
We have had domestic violence before, so him knowing or having the knowledge of where I live, it's kind of scary because he's even then, before then, he was still kind of like stalk me and harass me. So I had to change my phone number and move from the location where I was at because he even stole money from me. So yeah, I had to move from where I was at.
Okay. And so for all of those reasons, you feel that it's in your best interest and your child's best interest for your address and other personal information not to be disclosed in a court order, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
And no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, state's recommendation on this matter.
Your Honor, the state recommends that the current child support and medical support be modified to 0 due to Mr. Subia's incarceration that exceeds 90 days and the absence of income despite his incarceration. The state further recommends that a judgment be taken on child support and medical support arrears as of May 31st. And the state further requests that a reasonable repayment be set on those judgments. A child support judgment in the amount of $24,185.50 with a repayment of $100 a month until paid, beginning July 1st of 2020, and a medical support judgment of $9,686.72 with a repayment of $50 a month beginning July 1st, 2020 until paid. And the state further requests that Ms. Acevedo's information not be disclosed on any court order for her continued safety as well as that of her child. And the state further requests that Ms. Acevedo be considered to or be ordered to continue to apply for or maintain government insurance for the benefit of the child.
All right, the court will follow the recommendation of due to the current incarceration of Mr. Subia and provided for in the Texas Family Code, child support will be set at 0 for the time being, medical support at 0 for the time being. Now, at such time as Mr. Subia is released from custody, we can ask the Attorney General to file a motion to modify, and we can set child support at that time once he's released from custody. But according to the current law, when a person is incarcerated for more than 90 days, we have to set child support at 0 at that, and medical support at 0 for the time being. Now, concerning the child support and medical support arrearages, the court will confirm the arrearages at this time. As of May 31st, grant a judgment for child support and medical support arrears at that time. And I will be setting payments on those judgments as recommended by the Attorney General. I got $100 on the child support arrears and $50 on the medical support arrears. Ms. Kaplan, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that will be the order of the court. These payments are to commence on July 1st of this year. Payments to be made through the registry of the court as usually are ordered. I will grant Ms. Acevedo's request that her information, such as telephone numbers, addresses, employers, all that information is not to be disclosed in the court order that is to be issued in this case. Does that cover all the issues for today, Ms. Kaplan?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead and prepare the order for my signature. And for the information, Ms. Kaplan, I did receive the financial report and the Texas Department of Corrections offender information, and those documents will be admitted into evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor.
If you will go ahead and prepare that order, I'll send it to me so I can sign it. Once it's signed, it will be filed with the clerk's office. Copies will be sent to Ms. Acevedo and to the respondent, Mr. Subia. All right, with that concludes our hearing. Is there anything else, Ms. Kaplan?
Nothing further from the state at this time, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, that concludes our hearing in this case. With that, thank the participants for being here today. With that, that concludes our hearing. Parties are free to go. Thank you, Ms. Acevedo.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too, man. Okay. I only have Mr. Abraham. Okay, hold on a second. I only have Mr. Abraham Rios that's signed in. Ms. Reyes.
We made contact with Ms. Reyes, and I got word from my staff that she's supposed to be calling in. We also should have Ms. Claudia Benavente on the line as well to help with any translation.
Okay, I didn't see her name, but Ms. Rios hasn't signed in yet. It is close to the 9:15 docket.
I apologize, Your Honor.
I had some difficulty this morning getting started with the Quinones case. If she doesn't sign in by the time we start our next docket, I assume you all don't want to default her.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, because it is marked as I think it's a family violence situation. I'll give her 3 more minutes to sign in. Then we'll call it a docket. Okay. I'll bring in Ms. Claudia, CSO. There she is. She's connecting to audio. That's Ms. CSO Claudia Benavente. Good morning, Ms. Claudia. Do I have to unmute or is she?
I think she's muted.
Okay, sorry.
There she is. Okay. Isn't it wonderful you can mute the CSO anytime you want?
No, we treasure and
No
value our
comment.
CFO.
No comment. All right. Well, we're still waiting on the CP, Ms. Elva Reyes, to.
She had told me she was in the waiting room. She was joining. She had joined
Yeah,
already.
well, she was, and then when I started with the other hearings, I looked up again, and she was not there. Mr. Rios is there, has been waiting patiently, as far as I can tell.
Real, yeah, because I just hung up with her and I asked her, "Are you there? Did you sign back in?" And she had told me yes, and that she was waiting. Should I call her one more time?
Well, I need to start by 9:15 in about 2 minutes.
Okay. Let me.
I don't know how difficult this hearing might be. So motion modify and confirm.
Let me. Yeah, because she told me she had already gone back in. Let me send her the message here. Just a second. A ver, permítame. She is saying that she's in the waiting room. She's showing that she's in the waiting room.
Mr. Rios in the waiting room.
Well, I sent you the right info because you're here.
Yeah, let me. She's checking again. Sí vio ahí en el correo electrónico donde presionar para que entre, ¿verdad?
Mm-hmm. Sounds like it. Put a sala de espera or something like that. Well, I'm gonna have to start with 9:15.
Okay.
So
9:15
Claudia,
docket. So
looks like
if you'll let her know, case will get reset at some point, and Mr. Rios as well.
Okay.
Case will get reset at some point.
Okay, I will let her know.
All right. I have no idea when that case will get reset. We're probably looking at sometime in August.
Okay, I will let her know.
And it'll either be Zoom or hopefully we can be back in court. I don't know. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all very much. That will
Thank you.
finish our docket for this morning. I'll see you
Okay.
in about 30 seconds on the next docket.